Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this month's Borough Service Cabinet. My name is Madeline Enlow. I work at the Community Boards Unit at Brooklyn Borough Hall. I'm going to be chairing the meeting in place of Carol Ann today. So we will be, moving along as smoothly and as quickly as possible through this meeting. And I would like to start by saying first, we at Borough Hall would like to extend our condolences to CB7 for the passing of longtime Chair Rudy Daly and to the District Manager Sharif of CB17 as well. So, I'm very sad to hear that. So first, to start this meeting, I would like to ask for an approval of the agenda that you should have been sent by email. Um, All right. If anybody has any thing they would like to say about the agenda before we move forward, we can consider it approved. And then the approval of the minutes from our last Borough Service Cabinet meeting from March 10th. If anybody has anything that they would like to say about the minutes, otherwise we can move forward. All right, so I would like to introduce our first presentation, which will be from the New York City Small Business Resource Network, and Jonathan Marable from the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Good morning. I am so sorry. I was trying to unmute my camera to say my computer is just, my laptop is acting up. But thank you for your words of condolences and sympathy. And that's Community Board 17. I just wanted to correct
Oh,
that.
did I say 7 at first? I'm so
I
sorry.
think you said
Community Board
7.
17. Yes.
Thank you so much.
My apologies. Thank you. Okay, and Jonathan, if you are ready to begin presenting.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, first I want to start out with my condolences to CB17, Rudy Daly. I just met him like recently again. Like saw him a few times, but just saw him like maybe 2 months ago. It's wild. But yes, my condolences to CB17. Um, Absolutely. Oh man. Um, So let me get the screen up. Should be on. All right, hopefully this will let me do, hold on.
There should be like a share button below on the bottom side of your screen if you're using the browser.
Yeah, apparently it's not showing the one that the 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 one that I need. All right, let me try again. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, don't worry. Technical issues, it
Here we
happens.
go. Okay.
Okay, great.
No,
Thank
it
you.
is just like it didn't show up. All right. Here we go. Here we go. So, good morning. I'm Jonathan from Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, uh, part of the New York City Small Business Resource Network, the Business Support Specialist Borough Lead, and I'm joined by my supervisor, Mark Caserta, who's here for moral support. So first, before anything else, I don't know how many people know about the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. It's actually three organizations, three nonprofits combined into one. So there's Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, basically serves the small business community through promotion, support, services, advocacy, and convening opportunities. And then there's Brooklyn Alliance, which is the part that I'm a part of, which is economic development, direct service to small businesses, also what the Brooklyn Business Solutions Center is under. And then there's our financing arm, which is the Brooklyn Alliance Capital. Let's see. There we go. So getting to New York City Small Business Resource Network. It's actually something that started during the pandemic. I'm part of the first group of people. It started October 2020 essentially to provide free personalized guidance, uh, case management style to small businesses in need of help and resources. We do it through two ways. First, there's the one-on-one sort of case management meetings and referrals, and then there's also outreach. But the thing we emphasize is that we try to make it as accessible to small businesses as possible. So we aim for free resources, and it's from both the public and private sector. And we combine with the other 4 borough chambers of commerce to do this. Um, so the case management style part, how does it work? Essentially, you fill out a form, basically just giving information about your business and what sort of challenges you're facing. Then you meet with a business support specialist like myself, whether it's virtually, over a phone or video call, or in person. And then after your sort of meeting to sort of diagnose what sort of challenges are going on, you get connected to resources. Now, what kinds of resources? These are just some of the categories up here. Access to grants and loans, connection to legal counsel for free legal consultations, business strategy and coaching, marketing guidance, MWB certification. There was a program that we had earlier called Open and Online, through which a lot of people got websites built, as you see. We also had SEO consultations and logos and branding as well. But I want to bring focus to a theme that is consistent throughout, because we wanted to reach those that typically had the least access to resources. And so the Open and Online program matches with that, demographically, what tends to play out. Now, in terms of the door-to-door outreach, and just outreach in general that we do, it's 4 ways that we do it. First, there's the door-to-door, visiting corridors, visiting businesses. Then there's going to community boards, making announcements, whether it's at the general meetings or committee meetings. Then there's tabling at certain events, whether they're ones that are set by us or ones that we're invited to. And then there's in-person workshops that we conduct in partnership with SCORE oftentimes, though we'll also have other situations like when we set up the workshop series in Brownsville in collaboration with United for Brownsville. So we also do outreach with and on behalf of certain agencies. So you have, let's say in that first picture you had, and also just with community partners. So that first picture, you actually have us with people from a merchants association out in Canarsie. Second one, we were with DSNY doing outreach regarding the commercial waste zones. Third one is with Little Caribbean and Monique Chandler Waterman. And then the fourth, sure, we have SBS, but we're not limited to just doing outreach with agencies or elected officials. We can do it with you as well. And, we have. Now, just to give a sense of our impact so far, so over 3,700 small businesses served since we started. And you see that's what it is citywide. In terms of businesses reached, almost 14,000 businesses reached. That is, businesses that we've visited, unique businesses that we've visited just in Brooklyn. And then 84% of them are either minorities, that is not white, or they're women business owners, or, and or essentially. And then 72% of the businesses served are in low to moderate income zip codes, which are in blue. Top 5 business needs, as you could probably guess, financing is number 1, 25%. Top industries served, oh shoot, you have restaurants and cafes, but we have a wide gamut of businesses that we serve. Now, how does this tie into what Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce itself does? So with the promotion, we let people know about, sure, membership perks, but also what sort of ways they can utilize the, uh, whether it's through membership or other sort of means, what sort of ways their businesses can be promoted. The support, not only is it the one-on-one support, because we have our we actually manage the contract for the Brooklyn Business Solution Center. We actually have a direct connection. This is unlike other borough chambers. We actually can refer people in-house. So whenever people are going to the Brooklyn Business Solution Center, it's actually Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce as well, but technicality. Also, financing and one-on-one guidance. As for advocacy, we serve as eyes and ears regarding business conditions borough-wide. So, like for example, we did surveys regarding the tariffs. Uh, we check vacancies throughout different corridors. Just different things that we take back to the chamber so that we can be informed when we go out and speak on behalf of businesses to elected officials. And then convening. We share information about industry-specific opportunities and invite them to just, engage with other businesses. Now, the big part, how do people typically hear about our organization? Now, this is a sort of breakdown based on what people say when they submit their forms. Um, Largest amount just from local chamber of commerce, though that is could be even a sort of mix between that and bids, but local chamber of commerce. Then there's the visits next, then word of mouth or referred by other businesses, then community-based organizations directly telling people, and then social media. Now, what is most interesting is the distribution. Um, as in geographically the distribution. Now, admittedly, local chambers of commerce, uh, there is a bit of a separation, of course, areas that, tend to be a little more affluent or tend to be sort of connected to local chambers of commerce. It's just what happens. But, that's another reason why it's so important, the work that we do. So you see a heavy sort of concentration around downtown Brooklyn and the surrounding communities. Now, let's go to our sort of outreach. We actively make a point to try to reach areas that don't necessarily have access. So you will see it's very much aligned along corridors, between who's heard of us and, who decides to, utilize our services. Um, as for word of mouth, as you know, that's a very powerful sort of thing. So, that's just sort of people telling others about the work that's done and, telling them to take advantage of resources. Um, Now, community-based organizations, this gets to the sort of work that local nonprofits have and those sort of connections because that's another very important aspect of how information gets shared. um, Associations that they're a part of or linked to, uh, letting them know about what's out there. Now we do have stuff on social media, that's another and other sort of platforms, like newsletters, things of that nature, and that's how other businesses came across us. So, you see there's quite a wide distribution as to how businesses find out about us. But there are definitely ways that we can actually collectively as community boards let uh, let people know about this program. Now I know oftentimes because I've been to meetings, um, many of the current touch points, let's say, are license and permit approvals, but other sorts of examples that I've seen done in different community boards are things like small business resource fairs, merchant mixers, commercial corridor walks, and that's just other sorts of ways to engage with uh, small businesses. Because I mean, every community district has small businesses. So in whatever sort of way that you can let people know about this program, I invite you to do so. And all you have to do is tell them to go to www.smallbiz, so SMALLBIZ.NYC. Now, I do have a series of different reports that my supervisor, Mark, generated to show people just district stats. This is an example of one from CB1, but if you'd like, I can share these with all the different community boards if you're interested. Just let me know. So that said, I open it up for questions, and also, even if any community boards want to share a little about what they've been doing with small businesses, they're absolutely open to do so.
Hey, Jonathan, I just wanted to reiterate that this program is 100% free. The Chamber is a membership organization, but this particular program started during the pandemic through private funding from the Peterson Foundation. The Peterson Foundation does international work, and so when the pandemic started to wane a little bit, they asked us to go find some other funding. The city's Economic Development Corporation picked up the program a few years ago, and now we are part of the Department of Small Business Services budget as a subcontractor. So in order to work with us, we are already prepaid. You don't have to, if you're a business, just ask for help. We'll come and help you.
Yeah. And to add to that, that does get to a very common misconception that people have. You do not need to be a chamber member to get help from us. So just wanted to make that clear. We help anyone, everyone, any small business. And it is, as Mark said, free resources. And this is, no cost to anyone. All right. I see a hand was raised. I don't know how to check that, but yeah, you can speak, Ms. Leon.
Yep. Good morning. This is Celeste. I'm the district manager of Brooklyn Community Board 4, representing Bushwick. And I wanted to just say, yes, please. Any information that we can get from folks regarding, businesses or our district, those district specific reports are especially useful for our annual district needs statement. So we try to include as much as we possibly can to further contextualize information. I will also say that economic development is probably one of the only committees on the board where I have to always tell board members we don't receive a lot of formal requests, right? Like we're not getting proposals the same way we would get from the Parks Department or from DDC or from any other agency that's, putting together a capital project, because businesses are often, maybe there's legislation pending for businesses to support them, or maybe SBS wants to come and do an informational presentation similar to the chamber. But there is no real charter mandated requirement beyond what you mentioned already, which are the state charter mandates for permits and licenses, both for liquor licenses and Office of Cannabis Management. And so what the board has decided to do in some years, like you said, we held an MWBE resource fair 1 year. We had a very strong chair, affordable housing developer, also has an MWBE, and he wanted to really push the board in that direction, and it was received well. We've done a variety of commercial corridor walkthroughs, and we actually have an intern right now that's going to be redoing work that was conducted several years ago through, I believe, a Neighborhood 360 grant when the chamber was actually in Bushwick. And so, it's just, I think all of this work is very iterative, but as we know, our districts continue to change. And so even reports and data that we got, maybe a few years ago may no longer be relevant as we continue to see the small business landscape evolve. And then the last thing that I'll mention, I think one of the most sensitive topics small business wise in our district has to do with nightlife. So folks know Bushwick. Now Bushwick is no longer necessarily associated with, families and, a really diverse migrant population. It's now become known for its nightlife as well. And that's been a contentious point, especially because of all of those quality of life impacts. And so I think one thing we would like to do, anticipating it being busier in the summer, is seeing how we can work with agency partners and also, community organization partners to offset some of those impacts while supporting businesses and residents. And so it sounds easy, but of course, this work is very nuanced. A lot goes into it. So we're hopeful to make these connections. So.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, thank you.
So I just wanted to say thank you to Jonathan and Mark. I wanted to see if anybody else has any questions. I know some hands were raised. Melinda Perkins, to see you have a question.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Melinda Perkins, Brooklyn Community Board 5, East New York, Cypress Hills, Starrett City Gateway. Mr. Marable, I think you've come out to our board before at CB5, or at least to a committee. I know I remember us connecting a little bit ago, but we're doing something in CB5, and I think we wanted to extend that invitation again. We have one of the first neighborhood safety councils that was formed under the previous mayoral administration through the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. And what they're doing is hosting like a community resource fair to bring in resources that would not normally show up all at once. And we would love to have the chamber be involved in that, just to provide information and see how we can attract local entrepreneurs and small businesses to come in for this resource fair. I think they would find this particular program and others that the chamber offers, as far as services, super helpful. And it's a way for us to really get people to understand all of the resources that are there and how access to resources really helps prevent some of the issues in our districts, in particular gun violence. So I'll reach out to you and send you all the information and see if anyone on your team could be available to attend.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions? If you have your hand raised already and I can't see it, just definitely message the chat. Is that Carol Ann I see with a question?
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I just recently learned of Live XYZ, and I'm wondering if the chamber is working with them, and how does your work integrate with them?
Yeah, so Mark can speak more to that. We are in communication with them quite a bit, especially regarding our study of vacancies. Yeah, Marcus can speak more to that.
Hey, Caroline. Yeah, I think it's mostly in dealing with vacancies. And I think in theory, we want to talk to them a little bit because I know they have a ground team, but we could probably be helpful because our ground team is out, once or twice a week, hitting commercial strips, and we could probably be helpful with vacancies. But we also there's a map that SBS is now tracking everywhere that we've been as part of our contract, and so we can look hopefully soon at where we've been and then determine where we need to go still during the year. And it would be nice to integrate that with Live XYZ, but it's not there yet.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions before we move forward? Okay. So again, I want to say thank you so much for that presentation from Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, New York City Small Business Resource Network. Oh, did you want to share something else?
Oh, no, I was just saying thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next presentation, which is a Measure of America, which is a profit program of the Social Science Research Council. So when are you able to share a presentation, or is your technology working? Hello? So this is going to be with Alex Powers, Kate Harvey, and Tara Shawa.
You hear me better now?
Oh, now I can hear you. Okay,
great.
welcome,
It
welcome.
defaulted to my
Hi.
closed laptop like it likes to.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, I'm
Thank
Alex,
you.
and we're going to take turns speaking from, my microphone. So you'll see us shuffle around a little bit, hopefully not too distracting. But we're all here. We did this presentation a couple weeks ago, and this time we didn't all wear the same thing, so it'd be a bit easier to tell us apart. But let me start the screen share. And thank you for uh, joining for an early morning data-rich presentation. So now is um, you see the whole thing, right? Not just the. Okay, let me try something else.
Yeah, we see notes as well.
All right, how is this?
You got it. You got it. Perfect.
Great. All right. Thanks for bearing with us for Cisco in a while. So, yeah, the general agenda, just give you some context on who we are, what we do, give you an orientation to the tool. We'll have a time for Q&A, but if you have any questions as you go, please toss it in chat and we'll answer as we go. And then we'll send you on your way. And thank you for your time. So, first off, Measure of America, just a quick word about us. We have been based in New York City for almost 20 years. We're a project of the think tank, the Social Science Research Council. We were based in Brooklyn, now we're in Midtown. And what we focus on is breathing life into numbers and data to pinpoint levers for change, identify areas of need, and find resource gaps and describe access to opportunity and well-being in America. We've done a lot of work in New York and across the nation in rural and urban contexts. You can see, some of our reports and tools we put out. Three main areas of work. We have data tools, easy to use web tools, and everything we put out is free. And then we do a lot of work in the youth disconnection space or out of school and out of work young adults. And then we also produce human development reports, usually for a specific partner in an area. We just did one in LA County with the county there. So Data2Go, just to zoom out a bit, it's a free, easy to use mapping tool with a lot of community district level data, data at the borough level, data at the census tract, data at the neighborhood tabulation area. And we first launched this tool in 2015 and then relaunched it last year. So have kept it going for 10 years. And this is just a little bit about who used Data2Go over this time period. There were over 3,500 maniacs who downloaded all the data on the tool. A lot of New York City state government agencies and elected officials downloaded the data and sometimes used it in presentations. Councilmember Cornegie in Bed-Stuy was one of those members, and over 60 New York area nonprofits have worked with us through technical assistance programs, through partnerships with Nonprofit New York, New York Community Trust, and the Helmsley Charitable Trust. And then hospitals use the data in the tool for community health needs assessments. The tool ended up in the Museum of the City of New York for an exhibit based on the census and was used in a series of journalist collaborations with The Trace, a gun violence focused newsroom, and The City. And it spotlighted that there was a trauma care desert in southern Queens where people were far more likely to die from gunshot injuries than anywhere else in the city. And that became an issue in the Queens, thanks to the work of advocates, these journalists in the Queens Borough President campaign a couple of years ago, and through a series of nonstop advocacy and sort of different organizations using this information. The city committed 25 million, and the state committed 150 million to improve trauma care at Jamaica Hospital. So that's one, impact of this work that we're particularly proud of. Back to what Data to Go is, it's free, intuitive, and easy to use. It's comprehensive, multi-sectoral, and in this new update, we've added neighborhood tabulation areas. So I know it's a mouthful, but it's the Department of City Planning's term, and it gives you more information for the geographies within your community board. And we've got over 400 indicators in total, and a lot of them, I'd say most of them, are available by the community district level. And we wouldn't be able to do this work without the close collaboration and partners across the city, across city government, and across the sort of nonprofits that produce data on these and related issues. And we also worked with an advisory panel to develop this. So here's what Data to Go looks like when you load in. There's this little pop-up box that you can click out of, or you can read an FAQ, see some case studies, and go back to our main page. This is the main view, which we call Stat Explorer. So what it lets you see here is how indicators vary across the city, and it shows you this data in a number of different ways. So what you have on the map right now, and we use color for meaning throughout this tool. Darker is more of something, lighter is less of something, either good or bad. And the colors are based on the topic. So, red is health, green is work and wealth, so on. Anyway, what we have here, it's a map of the city, of course, and the indicator that is being displayed is the American Human Development Index, but you can change the geography of data that you're visualizing by clicking in that top left corner there. That tells you the neighborhood you've moused over. Here we've moused over Lower Manhattan in the Tribeca Civic Center. And this will tell you the name of the indicator that you're currently visualizing. It's our marquee indicator, our sort of go-to means for understanding how health, education, and income indicators combine to be a good representative of community well-being. And the data is repeated here. So the tool is designed, at least this view, to have an endless scroll, not unlike TikTok, where you can just keep scrolling and then you'll advance through the topics and you'll see the data sort of visualized on the map when you click into it. But what we have is the data underneath the map in that histogram, and then on the right-hand side, that same data in what we call a B-swarm visualization. This button here, they'll let you either compare this indicator with another indicator. Let's say you wanted to see, okay, how does this index compare with poverty? The compare button will show that for you. And then you can also go to export or share, which will give you a link that you could share or post on social media, or download the data in an easy-to-use Excel file, or an image of the map that you see before you. And with that, I'll pass it over to my colleague, Kate.
Hi everyone, my name is Kate Harvey. I'm a researcher with Measure of America, and I'll just continue the walkthrough of the site. So like Alex mentioned, one way to navigate through the site is just scrolling through everything in this giant, seemingly infinite scroll. But we also have these menu items on the top. So as you click through them and click into a different indicator, the color of the map and histogram will change, and the indicator you've selected will be reflected on the map and in the histogram with all of the source information and everything in this bottom left-hand corner. So you can see when I click into a health indicator, it turns red. We also have education indicators, indicators on work and wealth, on safety, which we have a pretty encompassing view of. It includes both things like crime, but also things like environmental hazards. We have civics, which includes a lot of voting data, and then physical world, which is our category that combines natural environment and infrastructure indicator, including housing. So one of the new features on the Stat Explorer that we're really excited about is the ability to visualize change over time. This is available at the community district level, and these different visualizations will appear in the scroll. So you can see the one I have here is showing the change in the American Human Development Index for community districts between 2013 and 2022. And when you look at this visual, you see these gray lines, and each of them represents a different community district, with the blue line representing New York City's human development score over the period. And then the bold line is the community district you've selected, in this case, Manhattan Community District 1, the financial district in Tribeca. So we also have the ability to filter through. So if you select largest change, you'll see just the community districts that underwent the greatest change over the period. So the community district with the greatest change between 2013 and 2022 was Long Island City. And if you filter for smallest change, that was in Tremont, Belmont, and West Farms in the Bronx, where the well-being score actually fell 5% over this period. And you can see each of the individual values for each data year by hovering over each of those points. So another type of data we have available in the Stat Explorer is point data, and we have point or facilities data for thousands of entities, including schools, libraries, waste transfer stations. So as you navigate through the scroll, you'll see this module type, and you can toggle on one of these. So in this case, I've toggled on charter schools. You'll notice in the bottom left-hand histogram that will count up the number of charter schools within each geography you selected. So in this case, I'm looking at Manhattan NTA 101, and you can see there are 2 charter schools in that neighborhood. One of the great abilities about point data, though, is that you're able to layer it on top of another indicator. Well, let me start by saying when you click on each of the points, you'll see a bunch of metadata about each type. So in this case, I've selected Brooklyn Excelsior Charter School in Bed-Stuy. You can see student enrollment and then proficiency rates for 3rd and 8th graders in English and math. And of course, the type of metadata and what information is available changes based on the point data type you have selected. But like I mentioned, you can layer these points on top of other indicators. So in this case, I've scrolled up to this module that shares information about the racial demographics of each neighborhood. I've selected the share of the white population. So in this case, the lighter sort of yellow areas are areas where there are low shares of the white population. This is interesting for surfacing sort of broad patterns about where facilities are located. So what I'm noticing on this map is that in parts of the Bronx and in sort of central and east Brooklyn, there's a higher density of charter schools. In areas there are lower shares of white population. So it's very interesting looking at different types of point data, and you can see sort of the spatial patterns as far as where facilities are located start to emerge really at a glance. So next, let me just show you, you can search through the site. So if you select this little magnifying glass icon in the top right-hand corner, you can search by just typing in an indicator name. So here I've typed in turnout, and if you click on that, it will bring you to the voter turnout module in the Stat Explorer. You can also search by zip code. So here I've typed in 11201, which will bring you to Brooklyn Heights. And these are sort of the main features of the Stat Explorer, but there are actually several more views of the site with different ways to look at and understand data. I'll pass off to my colleague Tara to show you about shortly. You access them through this little menu toggle in the top left-hand corner. But before we get to that, I want to take a quick aside just to talk about some impacts and some sort of team lore. So as part of the rollout of Data2Go 2.0, we had a series of technical assistance programs for New York City nonprofits. And you may recognize some familiar faces in this photo. One of the participants in our first technical assistance cohort over the summer was Brooklyn Community District 2. And as part of the program, each participant was asked to sort of work on a project that was relevant to their goals and needs as an organization, using data from Data2Go, using different data visualization techniques and methods we taught them throughout the program. And Brooklyn Community District 2 for their program, or for their project as part of the program, worked on creating a PowerPoint to advocate that they would be the next community district to have the rollout of Empire bins and have their trash fully containerized. Amazingly, they were successful, which was fantastic news, and they very kindly invited me and my colleagues to join for the press release, which was exciting, and we enjoyed getting to see former Mayor Adams speak. It was an exciting day. But one of the even more interesting down the line impacts we found out about was, if anyone saw the interview of Eric Adams with Z-Way, there's this little clip that rolls at the end, and we were looking at this video and we're like, this looks quite familiar. We put together that Z-Way actually first met Eric Adams for the first time at this press conference that we attended. So we're excited that Measure of America and Brooklyn CD2 was in some way involved in this hilarious and very iconic Z-Way interview. And with that, I will pass it on to my colleague, Tara.
Okay, thank you, Kate. So yeah, I'm gonna sort of finish up the demo here. I think in the interest of time, I'll try and go through this really quickly. We have so much data in the site. So Kate and Alex were talking about the Stat Explorer, which is sort of the main view of data to go. But there are actually 3 other views that we want to walk through right now really quickly. So this first one here is the Neighborhood Explorer. So the Stat Explorer allows you to view a single indicator mapped across the city, whereas the Neighborhood Explorer that you're seeing here brings together a whole host of indicators for a single place. So right here we have a community district in Queens selected, and we kind of just have a select sort of happy meal of indicators. So we have indicators on age, language, race, and so on here for our core stats view. For each one, we'll have a little sort of descriptor orienting you to the neighborhood, a little bespoke illustration, and again, the indicator name and the histogram and the map this side will all stay the same. So I'll just click through. The top level categories stay the same, but instead of the infinite scroll, you're just getting this smaller subset of indicators for your neighborhood that you have selected. And this view, you can toggle between community district and neighborhood tabulation area. And then a really cool feature in this view is you have the ability to create a custom dashboard. So here's an example of what one might look like that is oriented to young people. So we've added in data on youth employment, youth disconnection, school enrollment, family structure. And these are really great if you want to create your own dashboard. So here is a demo on how to do that. You just click custom on the side, add module, give it a name, and then you just start typing through the indicators that you want to add. You click to add them to your module. You can add as many as you'd like, and then you just click add module. So this is also really great because the URL is actually going to be custom, so you can take that and share it with your colleagues to show them the same module that you've just created. So this is all the Neighborhood Explorer. The third view that we want to show is the comparisons view. So this one allows you to correlate 2 indicators. We have a bivariate color scheme on the side. In the bottom left-hand corner, there's an explanation for how that works. So a darker blue is a higher value of, in this example, high blood pressure. Darker red in this example is higher commute time, and then a darker purple is a higher value of both of those indicators. So for those of you with a high commute time, you might not be surprised to see that high blood pressure and high commute time have a strong positive correlation. So we can see that on the map, how those 2 compare across the city, and then we can also see the scatter plot, sort of what the correlation looks like. We also have in this part an explanation. So example here, this is a strong positive correlation between these 2. And then we also have a little paragraph explaining what a correlation is and that a correlation is not causation. We have the R value here for our data nerds and a little pop out here to understand more about what a correlation means. It's really easy to select the indicators that you want to use. So you just click into the drop down, you can scroll through, or you can just start typing. And the map will update and the scatter plot will update with the indicators that you have selected. So that's the correlations view. The last view really quickly that we want to get to here is the demographic explorer. So this is a final way to view data across the city. Here we have our bee swarms, and we only have a handful of indicators for this, just based off what's available to be disaggregated down at this level. But here we have the Upper West Side selected, and then you can scroll through for the indicators that we have selected and see a breakdown by gender and by race and ethnicity. So this view is really great because at the top view, you see all of the community districts. You see the distribution for all of those. And here you see for the Upper West Side that the median personal earnings is around 95,000. But when you see the breakdown, you see that those distributions actually can shift. So the distribution for women is shifted a little bit lower than the average, the distribution for men a little bit higher. And you can see how, for instance, the distribution for Asian residents is spread out a lot, whereas for Black and Latino residents, it's a lot more condensed and, again, shifted downwards. So this is just a really great way to see that disaggregation within neighborhoods. So here where we might think of the Upper West Side as a high earnings area, we see that it's not necessarily the case for all residents within that neighborhood. And that is all. So we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. So I saw that we have a couple of questions in the chat. Okay, so I know Laura asked, is the data in real time and how old is the data? Laura Singer from Community Board 15, the district manager.
Mhm. Yeah, so the data isn't in real time. We try to update it about once a year during the summer, but it's the most recent data that we have available. There are data lags. A lot of the data is from the census, and there's like a 2-year data lag there. So a lot of the data right now is from 2023 because we updated it in 2025. But it's basically whatever the newest data is when we do our annual refresh of the data.
Thank you. And I also, I know this was answered in the chat already, but just so everybody can hear. So outside of the census, what are your other resource / data feeders? That's from Melinda Perkins from CV5.
Mm-hmm. Did we answer it in the chat already? I can talk about.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, just so people can hear it here.
Yeah. I can't read the chat from here, but yeah, we grabbed. We have a whole host of sources. We do a lot from NYC Open Data, so we have like police data. What else is in NYC Open Data? Traffic data.
You wrote from OMB, district resource statements,
Yes.
DOHMH, 311, data sets from the open data portal, the CDC, various issue focused nonprofits like the Transit Center for Transit Data, Feeding America for Hunger Data. Thank you. No, I just wanted so people can, not everybody's following the chat.
Yes, that does it a lot more justice than I could off the top of my head, so thank you.
Thank you. So if we have any other questions, you can raise your hand here or a message to the chat and I will call on you. Okay, wait, do I see one? Taya, you have a question?
Hi, Data to Go team. When is your next free class?
Oh, good question. We don't have a plan for those yet, but we're trying. Can you TBD, but we'll let everyone know maybe.
I am, full disclosure, I am the biggest fan of this entire project. It has been incredibly, insanely useful for CD needs. I think if my colleagues need like a single source data backup for all of your CD needs, this is really it. It's incredibly useful data. You can query so many questions. Like if you just have a hunch about something in your district, you can basically, like with a couple very light prompts, figure it out in numbers. It will pop up a beautiful visual that you can screenshot and use in your CD need statement. It's amazing. So highly recommend getting on their email list and taking the next class when it's available. I just also wanted to say that I particularly appreciated that one of the requirements of taking the class was that it would, each organization had to send 2 participants, a senior staffer and a junior staffer. So that was both a really good kind of bonding project for myself and one of my community associates to do. And it also just helped us think about our project in a more nuanced way. So huge fan.
Thank you so much.
All right, and then we have Juliet Lewis from Con Edison. You have a question?
Yes, good afternoon. I tell you, a lot of my friends are on. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Question, there's a lot of data here, and I understand why, because you definitely went really across the board for all types of services that are needed here in New York. I am pleased to see and to hear that you've offered this to the community boards. Is it available to other organizations and agencies and companies as well?
Yeah, the tool is free. It's online, so anyone can access it.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. Be very helpful as we put together several of our plans, as many of the community boards do as well. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And do I see another question from Melinda Perkins from CB5? Okay. Okay, so Jonathan, you have a question?
Yeah, I saw that you have a data request form as well. A data download request. I was just wondering in what form the data was coming. Is it like an Excel document, like CSVs, or is it like shape files? Like how is it coming?
It would be an Excel document, and you can either request all the data, the whole fire hose, or a specific indicator, if that's all you're after.
Oh, great. And that includes things that are typically not necessarily in Excel, like because sometimes data will just be locked in PDFs, like from
Yeah,
certain departments. Okay.
that's part of
Okay.
our adventure in putting this together is sometimes
Yeah.
PDFs or unfriendly data formats and getting it all in a easy, apples to apples kind of format. But
Yeah.
we don't provide the original files. We put it in a clean, easy to use, hopefully, Excel file. But we don't have the shape files or anything. Like we can always point people to them, but for us, we just provide the data in a hopefully straightforward spreadsheet.
Thanks. Awesome. It's great.
All right, thank you. And then Melinda Perkins, my apologies for before.
No, my apologies. I put the lower hand instead of unmute. Uh, so thank you for the presentation. Really, really helpful and in support with my colleague Taya. We definitely would love to see that class come back for all of our boards to take advantage of, because it is one of the super tools that we can use in the toolbox. But I want to ask a quick question as it relates to some of the information. Is there a way to showcase accessibility to resources and programs that exist in the district? And I say this in comparison to, let's say, how the Parks Department was able to identify walkability to parks and, put that in a community district-based kind of data set. So every district understands how far they are from local parks. And this is one of the things that I think will be very helpful for us to identify lack of access and, when there's a disproportionate level of resources in one neighborhood compared to another, as opposed to just identifying like whiter neighborhoods have this. We can say something like neighborhoods where there are more charters are also neighborhoods where there's less access to libraries. So for community boards, that helps us in a great way to advocate budgetary needs. Because we can then say, oh, this is how that data ties in. We know it to be true, but this is the data that supports it. So is there a way to incorporate access to resources and programs and services?
Yeah, I mean, that example you gave of libraries, that's one of the layers we have in the tool. So, you can click on, there's point data for libraries, and it'll count like all the libraries that are in your community district. And then you can also click on each library and it will give some information about, how many books they have in circulation and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
And we do have a walk to park indicator in this tool, and then there's some other sort of indicators of resources, whether it be, houses with air conditioning or, internet connectivity. There's really a broad array of indicators, and we're also trying to expand the tool and make it more useful. And if there's something that you're particularly interested in that you think we should look at, one of the things that we wanted to do but just couldn't do in this last update was to have walking time to libraries. So, for each resident in the community district, what's the average walking time to a library, like that, or a polling location, those are important. So we would love to hear from everyone on the call, honestly. And Kate, my colleague, just posted our website there, and you can also reach any of us at our name or contact@measureofamerica.org, and we'll all see it. But that's all to say, there are some indicators of resources in there, and we want to add more. I don't know, my colleagues, if either of you have any other, good resource stories.
I think that's maybe one way you could use the comparisons tool too, which Tara demoed, is you can look if there's two indicators that you're interested in and you're curious, like, do neighborhoods who have X characteristic also tend to have Y characteristic? You can look at those things in conversation with each other and see where different community districts fall on both of those indicators. So that's helpful if you're interested in doing a deeper dive on resources.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and looking forward to the class.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for Measure of America for your presentation. There was a lot of information there. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to check in. Juliet Lewis, is your hand still raised? Do you have another question before we move on? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
No, I don't. And thank you.
Okay, thank
Great
you.
presentation, though.
Thank you. Yes, don't want to leave anybody out, if you have any questions. All right, so we're going to move on into the next part of the meeting for cabinet updates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you guys have anything else you want to say before we move forward, actually.
Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt, but thank you all so much for your time, and we're really happy to, offer this tool for community boards.
Thank you so much. Okay, so does anybody have any announcements? You can either raise your hand or message the chat. All right, any announcements? Okay, let's see. Oh, okay.
This is Celeste. I just wanted to announce that CB4 is hosting its annual Shape Up Bushwick Health Resource Fair on Thursday, June 4th from 10 to 2 in Irving Square Park. So we're going to be sending out the invitation to agency partners, community partners, and elected officials shortly, but very excited to bring this back this year. That's all.
Thank you, Celeste. Okay, so we have NYC Aging.
Good morning, everyone. Sharice Lawrence, Department for the Aging. Just letting you all know, many of you already know that we have a campaign, a caregiving campaign. You care for them, we care for you. You may be seeing this campaign on the subways or in the newspapers, but we're really promoting our caregiving services. We have so many out there, so many people that don't actually identify as caregivers, and we want them to know that they can be supported. Additionally, you've been hearing me announce the Older Adults Home Modification Program, a new program at the department for older adults 62 plus, who are also low income, own or rent. I can put the number in the chat or send a flyer to anybody that reaches out. I don't know the capacity, but I've been promoting this so much that I'm sure that the unit's probably getting so many calls. So I want to, kind of tamp it down just a little bit. But if there's anyone here that would like to reach out to me for more information about the program, of course, I'll put my email in the chat. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Sharice. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
All right, and we have Eddie Mark from CB13.
Hi guys, as you can see, the weather is getting warmer, a lot warmer, and we just want to let everyone know that Coney Island opened up already from the Easter time, and we just want to welcome you guys to come down here anytime when it's warm. All right, have a good one.
Thank you for sharing that. So happy that it's getting warmer out and could go visit Coney Island. So do we have any more announcements before we move forward? Okay. Okay, so I think, oh, that is all for today. Oh, actually, just one moment, everybody. Sorry. Okay, yeah, so updates from Brooklyn Borough Hall. Okay, so the Brooklyn 2026 State of the Borough is happening this Thursday, April 16th. Join Borough President Reynoso for Brooklyn's 2026 State of the Borough to hear about what we've been up to and what's next for our borough. So you can RSVP to join us at the Brooklyn Museum this Thursday. You can find a link to that on the Brooklyn Borough President's website. I can share a link in the chat if you don't have that. So for 2026 graduation award nominations, the Borough President Reynoso is proud to announce that nominations are now open for his 2026 pre-K to 12th graduation awards. School administrators are invited to nominate students until Monday, June 1st at 5 p.m. Also upcoming on April 25th, there's going to be a New York City Teen Dating Violence Awareness Walk, and you can join us to take a stand against teen dating and sexual violence and earn community service hours. We will be meeting at 10 a.m. at Tillery Street and Cadman Plaza to march over the Brooklyn Bridge. And the Office of the Brooklyn Borough President is hosting Made in NYC Week from May 3rd to May 5th. Join us for a special collaboration with Made in NYC, an annual event series spotlighting the craftsmanship and talent within New York City's vibrant manufacturing community. Programming includes a walk along the planned IBX route, a green jobs fair, and a symposium exploring Brooklyn's manufacturing sector. And this year, all of our ULERP meetings will be on the second Wednesday of the month at Brooklyn Borough Hall. And just in general, if anybody needs help protecting their staff benefits, they can reach out to our Constituent Affairs team. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today for the Brooklyn Service Cabinet, District Service Cabinet. Our next meeting will be on May 12th at the same time at 10 o'clock. Thank you all so much. If anybody has any last comments before we move forward, please let me know. All right, everybody. Thank you. And if anybody hasn't RSVP'd to the State of the Borough, I'm putting the link in the chat. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Hey, everybody.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Bye.